Becoming a filmmaker is a big dream of mine. I've gotten some experience in my life, such as filming a few events, editing montages, and doing multiple film projects for school. But I've never really dedicated more than a few weeks to a single project. That was until my graduate film class. That entire semester, plus a little time in the summer, I had to produce my own short film. And boy, was it an experience. Here's what I had to do to create my first short film. I knew it was coming. I knew I would be dedicating my entire fall semester to creating a short film. Little did I know, my professor would have us start pitching our ideas that summer. I honestly didn't have anything in mind that soon, but being a mental health advocate and being a fan of psychological thrillers, I knew I wanted to go into that direction. Right after the 4th of July holiday, it was time to get to work. I met with my professor and my classmates over Zoom. I heard my classmates' ideas and I started to second guess mine. I was the only one whose idea was kind of dark, but there was no going back now. I had to present something. My professor seemed to like where I was going, which calmed me down a bit because I was starting to think that I was aiming for something too dark for school. However, the experience taught me to believe in the stories that I want to tell and tell them. They just so happened to be dark. Once I got the okay to start my screenplay, I sat down in front of my laptop and started writing. I wrote around 2 pages of the screenplay before I realized I had to be real with myself. I had to film this. Could I really get access to all of the locations I wanted for free and film all of it within a weekend? Spoiler alert, I couldn't. So I revised my idea and set for something smaller that I could film at my university. After thinking ahead and feeling more confident with the future filmmaking process, I started a new script and hit my mandatory 10 pages. We hit the ground running soon as the semester started. We met as a class and read each other's scripts. I didn't think mine was terrible, but I was anxious revealing a world that I created to even a few people. Mind you, I hadn't even officially learned anything about screenwriting yet. So aside from what I thought, the script actually wasn't great. The dialogue wasn't realistic, there was no showing but a lot of telling, scene headings were incorrect. It was bad. That same semester, I took a screenwriting class, so I learned as time went on and I kept making revisions to my script. A few weeks later, my professor and classmates said that my script was much improved, and so I was ready to start on other parts of the pre-production process. After changing the location of my initial idea, I sort of knew the areas on campus where I wanted to film. An office, a stairwell, the hall, a theater, and outside on campus at night. So I found some areas in buildings that I'm pretty familiar with. I walked around campus to find some areas that were not too far for my outside scenes. Things were starting to look up. That was until it was time to find a theater to film in. I contacted different theaters and auditoriums around campus with no luck. Then I started to contact theaters outside of my university, which I know I had to pay for, but I was getting desperate. Fortunately, one of my university's auditoriums allowed me to film there after much needed communication. Also, I had to have some location agreements signed, and after finding the appropriate people to sign them, I was good to go. When it was time for the storyboard and shot list, I created the storyboard first. I actually didn't draw my storyboard like I've done in the past. I created it on Canva, which was pretty fun. I found a storyboard template and some graphics that worked for what I wanted, and bam! I had a storyboard. After visualizing the shots for the storyboard, the shot list was pretty easy. I had some wide, medium, and close-up shots. I planned some pan shots and even a dolly zoom shot. It was pretty fun to see exactly what I had in mind for the story and putting it to paper. Time was passing and it was time to start casting. I decided to reach out to local actors in my community to be a part of my short film. I understand what it's like to just want a shot at something, and so I thought that this would help someone in the local acting community. I created a casting notice on Canva and found a Facebook community of local actors. I published my casting notice and was surprised by the number of people who responded. I ended up finding some great people. The extras weren't filled yet, but at least I had my stars. My weekend to film was already set thanks to my professor. All students had assigned weekends, so I had to set the hours for what days. 2 nights involved the evening and night filming, and on the final day I scheduled us to film a little earlier at noon. After making sure the times worked for everyone, I created my strip board. It's a document that organizes scenes in the order of shooting using color-coded strips. That was my first time learning about the strip board, and it was really helpful when it came to finalizing my schedule. All the hard work I had done for pre-production had led to this, the green light presentation. For the presentation, I created a PowerPoint including the cast, locations, budget, stunts, storyboard, shot list, and strip board. I can be a really anxious person sometimes, especially when it comes to presenting something for other people to judge, but I had to get this done. Not to mention, it was worth a lot of my grade. But overall, it was a really good experience putting myself and my ideas out there, which if I'm going to chase this dream, that needs to happen anyway. The time had finally come to film mid-semester. My crew was already assigned because they were my classmates and I was the director. Every day before filming, I sent out a call sheet to everyone involved with details of the locations, call times, and more. My crew and I met an hour before actors, so we had time to prepare the equipment. I was responsible for feeding my actors and crew, and it was the least that I could do to show my appreciation. On the second day of filming, my initial plan for a scene didn't work, so I had to make changes on the fly. On the last day of filming, music from another room was being heard when I needed it to be quiet on set. Despite the challenges, I really did enjoy directing. It was cool to see the making of my vision coming to life. We worked around 3 to 4 hours the first 2 days, and the final day was the longest, but we made it. The part I was most looking forward to was post-production. I've always enjoyed editing, and so I was ready. Boy oh boy, did I have a time. Syncing the audio with video had me so thankful for clapboards. The sun had set during one of my scenes, and it was so clear on video. Color correction saved that. Despite making fast cuts for a chase scene, it didn't feel scary like I wanted. Music added more tension to that scene. For some of my footage without audio, I found sound effects and even produced my own for the story. With all the footage I had to go through, the hours spent finding music and sounds, adding Foley sounds, and even learning how to color correct, it was a lot. And through it all, I understood 100% why some filmmakers fix it in post. I just knew I had something good with my first cut. It was good, but it can always be better. We met as a class again, and after watching the first cut, everyone chimed in with their thoughts. As much as I loved what I did, it's amazing to see all the things you didn't catch and hear other filmmakers' inputs. I learned that some things just aren't needed to still relay its message. After taking notes and making revisions to the edit, I felt more confident with the final cut. Last but not least, we screened the final film. It was nice to see everyone's short films and to know that I wasn't alone when facing challenges throughout the process. It was a small audience and not like a huge premiere, but I hope that my film has left some type of positive impact on somebody that watched it. And that was the journey of creating my first short film. Now that I think about it, I probably never dedicated the time to do something like this because it once felt like a dream that was impossible for someone like me, so why would I even try? Thanks to this class, I'm happy I tried. Because of this experience, I will try to create another short film, eventually trying for a feature-length film. Let the journey of becoming a filmmaker begin.